Doğukan Güngör. From Ankara to becoming an actor known by millions, some actors capture everyone's attention with their very first roles. Others spend years preparing in silence. They step onto the stage, receive training, take on smaller roles, improve themselves in front of the camera, and wait patiently until the right character finally comes along. Doğukan Güngör's story belongs to the second group. Millions of people came to know him as Fatih Ünal. But his journey did not begin with one love. It all began on the 1st of July, 1996, in Ankara. Very few details about Doğukan Güngör's childhood have been made public. His family life, the environment in which he grew up, and the exact moment when he decided to become an actor remain largely unknown. Yet the choices he made later in life reveal that he did not approach acting as a temporary interest or as a shortcut to fame. He saw acting as a serious profession that had to be learned. With this belief, he began a new journey that would take him from Ankara to Istanbul. In 2017, he entered the acting department at Beykent University. This decision became one of the first major turning points in his life. He was no longer simply a young man with a dream. He had become a student trying to understand acting through its techniques, discipline, and responsibilities. During his university years, he appeared on stage in plays such as Othello, Hope, The Custom of Our Village, and Nobody's Story. For an actor, theater is not simply about memorizing lines. There is no camera on stage. There is no chance to repeat the scene. Once an emotion begins, it must be carried all the way to the end in front of a live audience. During this period, Doğukan Güngör learned how to use his body, voice, gaze, and presence on stage. Alongside his university education, he also worked with acting coach Harika Uygur. His training in the Çubuk technique helped him understand characters not only through their visible behavior, but also through the conflicts hidden inside them. What did a character want? Why did he become angry? Why did he hurt the person he loved? And how did he use his pain in order to reach what he desired? Years later, these same questions would lie at the heart of the character who introduced him to a much wider audience. Around 2018, Doğukan Güngör had his first professional experience in front of the camera. Official broadcaster biographies state that his television journey began with the series Meryem, while his management agency also lists a production called Meltem among his earliest works. This was not yet the period of major roles. It was the period of learning how to work in front of a camera. These were the years in which an actor discovers the rhythm of a set, the pace of production, the importance of camera angles, and the way a small expression can become a powerful moment on screen. His first major visibility came in 2020 with the television series Zumrudwanka. The character of Hamid Ozguk became one of the first important roles through which television audiences began to notice Doğukan Güngör. He was not yet the actor at the center of the story. But he was now a young performer progressing step by step, taking responsibility in different scenes, and making the most of every opportunity he was given. During these years, he also began to appear in film projects alongside his television work. He took part in the film Dilbare, Little Giant Woman. Later, he joined the cast of the television series Hakim. He expanded his career through cinema projects such as Despite Everything, The Color of Victory, and Sadık Ahmet. None of these productions turned him into a major star on their own. But each of them became part of the preparation that came before his breakthrough. The real turning point in Doğukan Güngör's career arrived on the 28th of October, 2022. Kızılcık Şerbeti began its broadcast journey on Show TV, and Doğukan Güngör appeared before the audience as Fatih Ünal, the youngest son of Abdullah Ünal. At first glance, Fatih was a young man who simply wanted to marry the woman he loved. He was in love with Doga. He wanted to build a life with her, while trying to create a balance between the woman he loved and the family to which he belonged. But as the story developed, it became clear that Fatih was far more complicated than he first appeared. He confused love with control. He did not want to lose Doga, but he was also unable to separate himself completely from the rules of his family. He wanted to appear modern, yet he was unwilling to abandon the privileges offered to him by the traditional world in which he had grown up. At times, he was romantic. At times, he was angry. Sometimes he was regretful. And sometimes he was manipulated. The audience did not always love Fatih. Sometimes they were deeply angry with him. Sometimes they wanted him to stand beside Doğukan. At other times, they felt that the relationship should finally come to an end. But they could not ignore him. And for a television character, this is one of the most important forms of success. It is not only about making the audience admire you. It is about awakening a powerful emotion inside them. Doğukan Güngör did not play Fatih as a flawless hero. He did not hide his contradictions. He tried to carry repressed anger in his eyes, family pressure in his posture, and the need to be loved and approved of in his voice, all at the same time. As a result, Fatih became one of the most discussed characters in the series, not only because of what was written in the script, but also because of Doğukan Güngör's acting choices. The relationship between Fatih and Doğukan became one of the strongest emotional centers of the early years of Kızılcık Şerbeti. The screen energy between Doğukan Güngör and Sıla Tergolu brought together two very different styles of performance. Sıla Tergolu portrayed Doğukan's emotions in a more open, direct, and immediate way. Doğukan Güngör, on the other hand, often carried Fatih's emotions through his gaze, his silences, and his controlled body language. This contrast gave constant movement to the scenes they shared. The audience did not see their relationship only as the love story of two young people. Fatih and Doğukan also represented the meeting of two different families, two different understandings of life, and two different worlds. For this reason, every argument between them seemed to be about more than a personal problem. It became part of a larger discussion about family, marriage, freedom, tradition, and change. In interviews, Doğukan Güngör described Kızılcık Şerbeti as the turning point of his career. He explained that Fatih was unlike the characters he had played before, and that he tried to look at the role from a different perspective. He also stated that he drew from observations within his own family while interpreting the characters' relationships. This approach showed that he was not trying to understand Fatih only through the actions written in the script. He was also trying to understand him through the human relationships he had observed in real life. As the success of the series grew, Doğukan Güngör's recognition began to reach beyond Turkey. Kızılcık Şerbeti was introduced to international audiences under the title One Love and was sold to different countries. Viewers across Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East became familiar with its characters. Fatih Ünal was no longer only a television character discussed in Turkey. Doğukan Güngör's face began appearing on the screens of millions of viewers from different cultures and languages. Acting awards followed this success. At the Festiculture Most Loved of the Year Awards in Paris, he was named Best Actor. He also attracted attention through different television and audience-based award organizations. He was no longer the young actor who had once gained experience through smaller roles. He had become one of the central figures in one of Turkey's most widely discussed television dramas. But acting careers are not made only of periods of success. Sometimes unexpected breaks can suddenly change a structure that took years to build. At the beginning of 2026, Doğukan Güngör's journey with Kızılcık Şerbeti came to an end. After portraying Fatih Ünal for more than 3 years, he said goodbye to the character and to the team with whom he had worked. This departure created a major uncertainty in his career, because a new question now had to be answered. Could Doğukan Güngör move beyond the character of Fatih, the role that had introduced him to millions? Or would the audience always remember him only as Fatih? The first answer to that question began to emerge with the television series Haysiye. Doğukan Güngör was chosen once again for a leading role, this time as a character named Mehmet. Mehmet was a young man from a working family, trying to protect his dignity while facing the harsh conditions of life. Across from him stood Saime, a woman from a completely different social world. This time, Doğukan Güngör's screen partner would be Marie Öztürk. Haysiye was not simply another television project for him. It represented a new beginning. It was an opportunity to step out of the shadow of Fatih Ünal, create a new character, and redefine his career. Doğukan Güngör's life story up to this point is not only the story of a young actor who became famous. It is the story of an actor who received training, worked on stage, began with smaller roles, moved forward patiently, and captured the attention of millions when the right character finally came into his life. Fatih Ünal may have been the character who made him famous. But what made that character effective was the education, observation, and acting experience that had accumulated over many years. Today, he stands at the beginning of a new period in his career. New characters, new screen partners, and the need to prove himself once again are waiting ahead. Perhaps the true story of Doğukan Güngör is not yet complete. Because for some actors, the most important role in their lives is not the first major character that makes them famous. The truly important role is the one that shows who they can become after that character. And today, the biggest question standing before Doğukan Güngör is exactly this. After Fatih Ünal, will he be able to show the audience once again what kind of actor he truly is? Only time will provide the answer. But this journey, which began in Ankara and reached television screens through the theater stage, has already become one of the most remarkable young acting stories in Turkish television.